Ryan snapped her head towards the Crestmont villa. No! Ryan cried, running inside the Crestmont villa, holding her big belly, not minding that the villa is getting burned right now. But the cops stopped her. Leave me, my husband is inside the house. Please! Ryan cried, pushing the cops, trying to get out of the strong grip. Don't worry, your husband will be safe, a female cop said, trying to assure her. No, please, he needs me. I need him. Ryan wailed loudly. She rested her hand on her belly. Don't worry, baby. Papa will be okay. He will be with us soon. Just wait. Ryan tried to calm herself down, caressing her belly while crying. Ryan's eyes snapped towards the entrance door when she saw the firefighters bringing a body in a stretcher. For a moment, she felt like she couldn't breathe. With trembling hands, she walked towards the body. Ryan sighed in relief, thinking that it was not her Cookie because she couldn't even recognize the face. Ryan's eyes snapped towards the body's hand. She felt devastated when she saw a diamond ring on the body's finger, which Ryan gifted Jungkook on their wedding day. She knew that it was Jungkook's body, even though it wasn't recognizable. The ring was proof. Tears streamed down Ryan's cheek as she reached out and touched the ring gently. Ryan closed her eyes and imagined Jungkook's smiling face. She remembered the day that they had gotten married and how happily they had been. She remembered all the good times that they had shared and all the love they had felt for each other. Now it was all gone. She collapsed to her knees, her body shaking with sobs. She couldn't believe that Jungkook was gone. It felt like a bad dream, but it was all too real. Ryan had lost the love of her life. You can't touch the dead body, ma'am. We need to bring the body to the forensic lab for investigation, the nurse said, and Ryan pushed her. Ryan refused to let go of Jungkook's hand even though it was cold and lifeless. She held Jungkook's hand tightly, as if she was afraid of letting him go. Ryan closed her eyes and tried to calm herself down. She took a deep breath and held her hand over her stomach, where their baby was going to come out of its safe place. I have to be strong for you, she cried, whispering to her unborn child. Doctor came out of the operation theatre with a sigh. She saw Mr. Kim sitting on the chair outside the operation theatre. He stood up, going towards the doctor. How is my daughter, doctor? Mr. Kim said, feeling genuinely concerned about Ryan. Kim, Ryan is out of danger, doctor said, and Mr. Kim sighed in relief. But we couldn't save the baby. She was a baby girl, and the baby died right after coming out of her mother's womb. Due to stress, Ryan had a miscarriage. I'm sorry for your loss, Mr. Kim, the doctor said, removing her gloves, walking out of the corridor, and Mr. Kim grinned secretly. He received a call from his man. Sir, the police declared it as an accident after taking your money, and they gave the responsibility of dead bodies to you, the man said. Okay, sir. It's been a month since Ryan had come back to her previous home with her father, Mr. Kim. Mr. Kim went inside her daughter's room, opening the room quietly. He noticed that the room was dark like usual. Ryan had barely spoken to her father since she had come home. She spent most of her time in her room alone. Ryan was sitting on the far end corner of her room, holding her knees against her chest, chanting 3 words like a mantra, Cookie, baby and mom. She had been doing this from past 1 month, making Mr. Kim sigh in worry, and this time he decided to take Ryan to a psychiatrist. I'm Dr. Minho, and what is your name? Dr. Minho asked, looking at Wayan, who was in her own land, mumbling those three words again and again. The doctor sighed, coming out of his cabin with Mr. Kim. She is suffering from depression and severe trauma, and this is the last stage. I am sorry I can't do anything. You can take her to a different hospital, Minho said, going back inside his cabin. Mr. Kim sighed, rubbing his forehead. I can bring the old Wayan back. Mr. Kim looked at the person. She was also a doctor. She looked at Mr. Kim with a smirk. How? Mr. Kim asked with the hope to bring his daughter in normal state. Electric shock treatment. The doctor smirked. It will make her forget everything what happened in past 5 years, doctor said. Then please do it, Mr. Kim said with desperation. For that you need to give me a few million once for it, the doctor said. I'll give you a blank check, but please bring my old Wayan back, Mr. Kim said, holding the doctor's hand. Okay, then I'll start the treatment right away, the doctor said, going inside her cabin. Mr. Kim went inside a room and he saw Wayan slowly opening her eyes. She got up with her father's help, resting her back against the headboard of the hospital's bed. Dad? Wayan said, looking at Mr. Kim. Jungkook? Mr. Kim said, and Wayan looked at him with a confused expression. Jungkook, Mr. Kim said once again. Who is Jungkook? Wayan asked, furrowing her eyebrows. He is no one, baby. Come here, Mr. Kim said, hugging her daughter. Where is my mom? Mr. Kim lied to her, saying that she is out of town, and later she got to know that her mom died of cancer. Wayan was on the floor, crying her heart out. She had started to remember everything that had happened. She remembered Jungkook's beautiful smile, his adorable laugh, and his loving touch. She remembered their plans for the future, and how happy they had been together. Wayan's heart ached with grief. She couldn't believe that Jungkook was gone. She felt like her world was falling apart. Minji was crying hysterically in Yoongi's arms. She couldn't bear to see Wayan in so much pain. Jinha ran out of the mansion because she didn't have the heart to look at the couple anymore. They deserved better, and Namjoon was standing there silently, trying not to cry. Jungkook is not a demon anymore because he got his revenge, so now he turned into a good spirit. Wayan cried, standing up, stumbling a bit as she looked at her husband in awe. Jungkook looked so ethereal, like an angel from heaven. His skin glowed with a soft light, and his eyes were filled with love. With trembling hands, Wayan tried to touch Jungkook, but she felt a pang in her heart. When her hand went past Jungkook's body, she couldn't touch him. Wanna touch you, Cookie? Wayan cried, trying to touch Jungkook again and again. Sorry, love, you can't touch me. I'm not a demon anymore, so I don't have any powers with me now, Jungkook said, making Wayan cry even more. Can I talk to her alone? Jungkook said, looking at others. Yoongi and Minji nodded their heads, going up. And Namjoon looked at Jungkook, taking a bottle out of his bag. Well, it can give solid state to a spirit for 5 minutes. If you want, I can use it on you, John, Namjoon said, and Jungkook nodded his head with a smile, and Namjoon poured some drops on Jungkook's spirit. You can touch him now, Wayan, Namjoon said with a small smile, going out of the mansion. Wayan slowly rested her hands on Jungkook's chest with shaky hands. Wayan felt shivers running down in her body when she felt Jungkook's muscles against her palms. Wayan cried, pulling him into a tight hug. Jungkook circled his arms around Wayan, snuggling more into Wayan's neck, inhaling the familiar scent of his wife. I love you, Wayan cried, pulling Jungkook more closer. Love you too, gorgeous, Wayan cried more after hearing Jungkook's words. Please don't leave me, Wayan begged. I can't live without you. Jungkook cupped Wayan's face in his hands and looked into her tear-stained eyes. I love you more than anything in the world, he said. But I'm not a human anymore. I don't belong here. I don't care, Wayan said. I just want to be with you. Jungkook shook his head. It's not possible, he said, but I'll always love you. Please, Cookie, I can't live without you, Happy, Wayan sobbed. No, baby, you have to move on from me and marry Yeonwoo. Can you do that for me? Jungkook asked, cupping Wayan's cheek, and Wayan cried, shaking her head, saying no. They both stayed in each other's arms for a few minutes, feeling each other's warmth. 5 minutes are going to get over. Goodbye forever, my love, Jungkook said, caressing Wyan's face. Wyan panicked when she felt Jungkook's body fading slowly out of her tight grip. She sobbed, holding Jungkook more tightly. She quickly opened her eyes when she didn't feel her husband's warmth anymore. She fell down on her knees when she saw no one was there in the lone mansion except her. Wyan let out a heart-wrenched cry when she couldn't believe that Jungkook was gone. She had just had him back in her arms and now he was gone again. It's been a month since Wyan had moved to Crestmont Villa, near the graves of Jungkook, her baby and her mother-in-law. She spent her days staring at the graves, blankly without even bothering to eat properly. Sometimes Minji and Junha would come to feed her. Wyan was still grieving the loss of her loved ones. She felt like her life was over. She didn't see the point in anything. One day Minji and Junha came to visit Wyan. They found her sitting at Jungkook's grave, staring at the headstone. "Hey," Minji said gently, "how are you?" Wyan didn't answer. She just continued to stare at the headstone. "You know that Jungkook couldn't want you to be like this. He would want you to be happy." Wyan shook her head as she cried hysterically in her best friend's embrace. Minji and Junha were worried about Wyan. They tried to talk to her and help her, but she refused to listen. She pushed them away and told them to leave her alone. The next day, Minji came to the Crestmont Villa to feed Wyan breakfast. There she saw Wyan lying lifeless above Jungkook's grave, her right hand resting above her little baby's grave. Minji's hands flew to her mouth and tears started to flow down from her eyes. Jinha, Minji and their friends buried Wyan next to Jungkook and their baby. They gathered around the graves, their heart heavy filled with grief. Everyone went out and Minji was still standing there. "Shall we go?" Yoongi asked. "You go, I'll be there in 5 minutes," Minji said, and Yoongi nodded his head. Going out, Minji rested her hands on Wyan and Jungkook's grave. "Hope you both reunite in heaven and live together happily," Minji whispered with a small smile. She wiped away her single tear as she walked out of the Crestmont Villa.